September 13th, 2008, Saturday morning, New York City. Inside the most powerful investment bank on Wall Street, men in $1,000 suits are crying, literally crying. Grown men, titans of finance, reduced to children. For 158 years, Lehman Brothers survived the Civil War, 2 world wars, the Great Depression, but it couldn't survive one weekend. By Monday morning, $639 billion would simply vanish. The largest bankruptcy in American history, but here's what nobody tells you. They saw it coming, and they didn't care. To understand the scale of what was lost, you first have to understand what they had. In 2007, Lehman Brothers was the 4th largest investment bank in the United States. They had 25,000 employees. Operations in every major financial center on Earth. Assets worth $639 billion. That's more than the GDP of Sweden. They financed shopping malls, office buildings, luxury condos from Miami to Mumbai. If you bought a house in America between 2005 and 2007, there's a good chance Lehman Brothers touched that mortgage somewhere along the chain. And at the top of this empire sat Richard Severin Fuld Jr., known to everyone as Dick Fuld. His employees had another name for him, the Gorilla. Not because he was brutish, but because he was feared. In 2007 alone, Fuld earned $34 million. Over his career at Lehman, he took home nearly $500 million, and he believed every penny was earned. But here's the thing about empires built on arrogance. They never see the collapse coming. By early 2007, the U.S. housing market was beginning to crack. Subprime mortgages, risky loans given to people who couldn't afford them, were defaulting at alarming rates. Other banks started pulling back. Lehman Brothers doubled down. They poured billions more into real estate, commercial properties, residential mortgages, anything tied to the American housing dream, because they believed the party would never end. And when the numbers started looking bad, when the balance sheet started showing cracks, they cheated. To understand what Lehman did, you need to understand something called a balance sheet. Every company has one. On one side, you list your assets, what you own. On the other side, your liabilities, what you owe. By 2007, Lehman Brothers had a problem. They had too much debt. Their leverage ratio was over 30 to 1. In plain English, for every dollar Lehman actually had, they'd borrowed 30 more. So what did Lehman do? They invented a magic trick. They called it Repo 105. Right before the end of each financial quarter, Lehman would temporarily sell billions of dollars in assets to other banks. These weren't real sales. They were repos, repurchase agreements. Lehman would buy everything back a few days later. But for those few critical days, those assets were off Lehman's books, which meant their debt ratio looked healthier, safer. It was accounting fraud dressed up in a fancy suit. Between 2007 and 2008, Lehman used Repo 105 to hide approximately $50 billion in debt. $50 billion. And the audacity didn't stop there. And here's the twisted part. It almost worked. Investors believed the cooked books. Regulators didn't dig deep enough. Lehman's stock kept climbing. Fuld kept cashing checks. And inside the building, the arrogance grew. May 2008, a man named Matthew Lee, a senior vice president, sent a letter to executives. In it, he detailed exactly what Lehman was doing. He warned them, explicitly, that it was going to destroy the company. Nobody listened. Lee was ignored, then sidelined, then fired. 3 months later, everything he predicted came true. Friday, September 12th, markets close. Lehman Brothers stock has cratered 77% in a single day. By now, the truth is out. Bear Stearns collapsed in March. The housing market is in free fall. Investors are fleeing. And Lehman's Repo 105 house of cards? It's collapsing. That Friday night, Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson calls the CEOs. The message is clear. Find a buyer for Lehman by Monday, or else. Inside that building, bankers try to save Lehman. Bank of America looks at the books, then walks away. Barclays shows interest, then their government blocks the deal. One by one, the options disappear. Dick Fuld genuinely believed, that the government would bail him out. That Lehman was too important to fail. That he was too important to fail. He was wrong. Sunday night, Lehman employees are told to pack their desks. Security escorts them out. 25,000 people, told their jobs no longer exist. Monday morning, 1:45 a.m., Lehman Brothers files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. $639 billion in assets, gone. It's the largest bankruptcy in American history, and within hours, the entire global financial system begins to collapse. In the months after Lehman's collapse, investigators combed through the wreckage, and they found something stunning. Lehman's top executives knew. They knew the company was insolvent. They knew Repo 105 was fraud. They knew the housing market was collapsing. Internal emails show executives joking about the Repo 105 transactions, calling them window dressing. It's basically money laundering. And yet, even as they knew the end was coming, Lehman executives continued to cash out. In the final year before bankruptcy, senior leadership took home over $700 million in bonuses. Dick Fuld alone sold nearly $500 million in Lehman stock between 2000 and 2008. He got out and left everyone else holding the bag. Not a single Lehman Brothers executive went to jail. It's been over 15 years since Lehman Brothers collapsed. The global economy survived. Markets recovered. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Since 2008, the biggest banks have only gotten bigger, more powerful. more interconnected, and more arrogant. Could another Lehman happen? Ask yourself this. What's changed? In 2023, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed in 48 hours. In the same year, Credit Suisse had to be bailed out. The names change. The arrogance doesn't. The fall of Lehman Brothers wasn't just about bad bets. It was about hubris, about men who believed they were untouchable, about a system that rewarded recklessness. $639 billion evaporated because people at the top thought the rules didn't apply to them. They were right.